IWC are known for their Big Pilot. The Big Pilot is a watch that is acceptedly oversized, as everyone is well aware of the form follows function basis behind which the watch is made. I've grown tired of listening to people romanticize the idea of how the watch was originally intended to be strapped to a pilot's thigh as justification for the size of the watch. To me, it's just a watch. I don't care about its history, and that may come as a surprise to a lot of you, but to me, I just see it as the tool that it is, and I see it as something that is to be worn, not so much about what it symbolizes and the icon behind the thing. So what I'm saying is I'm really not a big fan of the super large Big Pilots, at least those without any complications and just gigantic dials. But this is different. The size of this watch makes sense, but nothing else about it does. Here's what I mean by that. So the case is 48.6 millimeters in diameter. It's basically a G-Shock. It's also 16 millimeters thick, so thicker than most G-Shocks. Rationality would have you argue that, well, it is a perpetual calendar, so it individually tracks the day, date, month, year, leap year, and even moon phase in this case. And particularly, it's a double moon phase. What's that? Well, it shows the state of the moon in both the northern and southern hemispheres. Where's that? It's that cool yin-yang looking subdial at the top dead center. So that is the moon phase. So logically, you would assume that more complications mean more parts, which would ask for more space. Hence, the thickness should be justified. Well, that's not really the case. Quite literally the case. I'll show myself out. But many automatic perpetual calendars exist well under the 10mm case thickness. The entire watch, that is. The calibers themselves, there's many of them that exist under 5mm thick. It's just perhaps that this particular movement, surprisingly comprising of only around 80 parts, as designed by IWC head watchmaker Kurt Klaus, compromises thickness for simplicity. That's my assumption. It's not a fact. I'm no head watchmaker, but having studied some mechanical design, I've come to learn that the simplest working solution is generally the best. I'm assuming maybe that's how this works too, because it does a lot with so few parts, and that's quite astonishing. So the movement itself has got its characteristic 7-day power reserve. We know and see that from IWC quite often, especially in their Big Pilot watches. So that's got to be a large barrel for the mainspring, and that probably takes up a lot of space. What's even more cool about all of this is the complete lack of pushers. That means everything, every complication is operated by that one large crown. If that's not genius, then I don't know what is, because most perpetual calendars have these tiny pushers that you can barely see. They're kind of flush with the case. You need a pen-like tool to push them, and they essentially help setting the day or date or certain complications. But this one, everything's done through the crown, and that's quite impressive. This particular watch is the Top Gun edition from 2016. What does that mean? Well, it's got some cheesy Top Gun livery on the case back, which is now solid as a result of that, so it's not see-through. I don't really care for it because I haven't watched Top Gun, the old one or the new one either. Sacrilege, I know. Feel free to have a go in the comments. So how does it wear? It kind of wears like your dad's watch did when you were 10. It's a behemoth on the wrist, and my wrist is 7.3 inches, that's 18.5 centimeters. But still, it's atrociously cool. It's weird that watch enthusiasts are the ones to be critical of other watch enthusiasts wearing large watches, but in contrast, a non-watch enthusiast would find the size of this watch really cool. Unfortunately, they just have little appreciation for the magic trickery underneath the hood. This watch is probably the worst execution of a perpetual calendar. It's so bad that it's come right round to being cool as hell. It's so weirdly good with zero pretentiousness. You know how in measuring skills there's a balance of talent and hard work? Well, this watch symbolizes zero talent and 100% hard work, and that's rare. And that's why the IWC Big Pilot Perpetual Calendar makes no sense. It just doesn't need to. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.